Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be sharing some of my methods on how I make 3D anime like what you're seeing on screen right now. This will be a breakdown of how I make stuff like characters, environments, animations, and whatnot. If you're here because of my Hermitcraft animations, this could be a sort of behind the scenes of how they're made. Anyway, let's get into the tutorial. First, I'm going to talk about how I make characters. I use a software called Vroid Studios for the base character and then modify it in Blender. Vroid is completely free and really easy to use. It also gives pretty good results. Once I export the base, I bring it into Blender where I apply this shader which I learned how to make from Lightning Boy Studios tutorial series. I highly recommend it for anyone who wants to learn to make anime in Blender. I also use a color ramp on the eyes to add more contrast to the colors, as I feel this makes it look more human or something. For environments, I usually keep the modeling relatively simple. Lighting and materials is, I've found, what really carries environments of this style. I typically start my projects by doing a rough block out of the scene, just to get some basic forms and shapes out before moving on to lighting. For the lighting, I tend to add in a sun lamp with a strength of around 50, then make the background a darker blue. I sometimes add in additional lights, but only if there's an object in the scene that would realistically emit light. After that, I add more complexity to the models before moving on to the materials. Sometimes I'll use procedural textures, but a lot of the time I will use free textures off sites like Polyhaven and Ambient CG, which I will stylize with methods like boosting the contrast or saturation. Once all that is done, I add line art using a grease pencil and render it out. After the render is done, I finish with post-processing. When it comes to the compositing, I tend to add in a color balance to give it all a sort of color theme, if you will, as well as a glare node and occasionally a Kuwahara to give it a painterly look. For character animation, I tend to keep things relatively simple. I just add a stepped modifier to give it more of a 2D animated look. I think that covers pretty much everything I wanted to say in this video. If you guys want more of a deep dive into something, or for me to talk about more of what I do, let me know in the comments down below. Bye!